Learning to control your emotions in crypto. It's a hard one. I mean, just like anything you're invested in, whether it be financially or something you've put a lot of time into, and that thing doesn't work out, it's hard. You get upset, and then, while you're upset, you're emotional, and while you're emotional, you're thinking, well, how can I recover this? How can I fix this? And then you take action on emotion. And I can tell you 99 times out of 100 it won't work. So yeah, emotions are a hard thing to deal with, especially when it comes to investing and there's money involved. So here's a few tips that have helped me out. Do your own research. Yep, that old chestnut. And yeah, like me, when I first started, that's all I ever used to hear people saying: do your own research, do your own research. And it took me a while to realise why they were banging on about it. Because it is important. I mean, when I first started, I'd hear do your own research all the time, and I'd hear, the classic kind of story. I'd hear someone say something about a coin on YouTube, and then I'd look up just to see what that coin is and what they do, and then that would be it. Then I would make my decision whether I'm going to buy it or not, and usually I would buy it. Now and again, it would pay off because, okay, maybe I was buying stuff at a good time in a bull market. But I can tell you that kind of strategy is not going to serve you well in the long run. You are going to lose money, and I have lost money through doing stupid things like that. Just looking up to see what a coin isn't. I mean, it is research, but it's not enough research. And the thing that would put me off doing my own research was I didn't want to go through like pages and pages of script, online on websites and in books or whatever to research what the thing I wanted to invest in, or whether I should invest in it or not. It just seemed like so much effort. Yeah, and there is effort involved when it comes to doing your own research, but there are easier ways to do it, more efficient ways. And now that crypto is a lot more mainstream, there are a lot more resources out there that you can use. That you have to remember, you're not the only one in crypto doing research. There are other people doing research and like to convey their research to others, i.e. put it online. You just have to make sure that those people and the sources that you're getting that information from is reliable. They're not giving you positive information, or they're not talking positive about a coin because they want you to buy it. They're just giving you facts. People that just give you facts about coins, it could be positive because there's good things coming from that coin, but just make sure that they're not saying those positive things just because they want other people to buy them. So it's almost, you do your research, but then you almost have to do your research on your sources as well. But again, it shouldn't take too long to find out individual bits of information, but it should still take you a decent amount of time to have a good amount of knowledge to make a good decision on whether you should invest in something or not. So some ways that I do research is obviously one, YouTube. Just making sure that you're not just watching some influencer shouting and raving about a coin that's going, oh yeah, this is amazing. That might be a way you hear about the coin. You go, oh okay, what's this? I've not heard about it before. Then the idea is you pull away from that specific YouTuber or person or whatever, and then you listen to lots and lots of other people talk about that coin. What their views are on it, about it, and what their opinions are, and then you get a nice well-rounded kind of view on what lots of people think. Another good way of doing that is to go to social media. What are people saying about that coin? Maybe go to the coin's Twitter page and see what the comments are saying. If it's just saying, oh yeah, to the moon, it's not going to give you a very good idea of what the coin's about. It's just a bunch of people that have clearly invested in the coin that want it to do well. if there's loads of negative comments, then obviously that's a red flag straight away. So maybe it's always good to have a good, almost like a portfolio of YouTubers and people online that you can go to that are reliable for information, because they're just going to give you information on something from a neutral standpoint, so it doesn't affect them whether they talk negatively about something or positively about something. They're just going to give you information because that's how they've built their reputation, with honest research essentially. So just listen to them. My research is done through just listening through podcasts, because I still work, so on my commute I listen to podcasts, and there's loads of podcasts on Spotify, people with crypto. Okay, that might not mean you're getting information on that specific coin, but in terms of general research just on the crypto markets and what's happening, and certain things with events and things, it's a great way just to keep up to date with crypto, and just have a real kind of a real understanding of what's happening in crypto at that current time. Just remember, the more research you do, the more knowledge you have of the thing that you're wanting to know more about, meaning you can base your decision making in terms of whether you're going to invest in it or not more on logic than emotions, because the less research you do, the less logic you have, which means the more you have to rely on emotions or like a gut feeling, which is just not going to serve you well in the long run. So the second tip for controlling your emotions is to have an investment plan. And again, it's probably something you've heard a lot of people talk about, to have a plan. And again, when I first started, I was like, I didn't want to sit there and write, like a whole plan of like my each and every individual move that I wanted to make in crypto. But I don't know what it was, but I just realized that a plan isn't necessarily like what every step-by-step move I'm going to make. It's almost like an investment tactic, like what investment tactics am I going to use? So, an investment plan could be just dollar cost averaging. That's my investment plan. I'm going to dollar cost average maybe during, bear markets, when things aren't looking too good. I'm going to dollar cost average into, coins that have survived the bear market, that have good utility, that are maybe just top 10 coins, ones that I can rely on, more than others anyway. Yeah, and that is an investment plan. It's a simple one, but it's still an investment plan, so dollar cost averaging. And when you have a plan, it means when you do get emotional, like in terms of, I want to buy this coin, everyone's raving about it, then you can go back to that plan and then look at it and say, does that fit into my plan, me buying this coin right now? If no, then just don't do it. Stick to the plan. Sticking to a plan, whether it's one you've just nicked off someone else, or obviously you still have to mold it to your needs and your situation. But if it doesn't fit into your plan, don't do it. Just stick to a plan. Make a plan and stick to it. I'm not saying your plan is definitely going to work if you stick to it, but give it time. Stick to a plan for 6 months, or at least not even 6 months. That's not long enough. I'd probably say a whole, maybe like Bitcoin cycle, so 4 years. I mean, that might seem like a real long time, but I think you've got to really, really give a plan a good go to then see, whether it's going to work or not. And to be honest, if you're in crypto for that long, you're going to build more knowledge, you're going to understand crypto more, and your plan is probably going to change, because you're going to think, well, okay, I've made this plan back then, I didn't know as much, now I know more, I can alter it to make it more efficient and work better for me, or again, your situation might change, so your plans obviously will change with that. So yeah, an investment plan, have an idea, a tactic of what you're going to do, and stick to it. And number 3, patience. It's probably the hardest one, because patience is, it's kind of an emotion in itself, or at least an action that means you have to, suppress emotion, because usually it means you want to do something, but you hold yourself back from doing anything. That's essentially what patience is. So just being able to like look at a coin that you want to invest in, and instead of just putting money into it straight away, just watch it for a bit, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, a year. Just watch what it does. Okay, yeah, you might miss some pumps, but you should be having a long-term goal. So you watch a coin for 6 months, okay, it might skyrocket, but you should be investing in coins that for the next 5-10 years. So 6 months and it pumps, okay, you've missed out. But if you then realize, okay, this coin's got something about it, it's good, it's got good utility, it's run by a good team, then you put money into it, you missed that first initial pump, but the next 5-10 years, you're going to forget about that pump completely, because it's 10x since then anyway. So yeah, having patience, being able to just sit back and watch what happens, instead of putting money into it and then hoping something happens is a good way to describe it, I guess. So yeah, patience is key. So yeah, I reckon if you use those 3 tips to control your emotions in crypto, they'll definitely help. But again, you need to just practice them, just like anything. You need to practice those 3 things. Practice making a good plan. It will obviously get better over time once you learn more. Practice patience. Again, it's something you just get better at. And what was my first one again? And yeah, doing your own research. Yeah, that's one that a lot of people like to skip on. But yeah, again, it's something that you get better at over time. You'll realize that you think you've done your research, you buy into a coin, then it goes down. I mean, you're never going to get 100% certainty from research, but a coin goes down, you think, well, why has it gone down? Because because so and so happened, and you didn't research that bit, you didn't find that bit out, and if you had, you might have not put money into it. So again, then you go back, and next time you do your research, you realise to look at that thing, and then again, it's just something you get better over time. So maybe a 4th one should be practice. Yeah. So yeah, practice makes perfect.